Greetings, traveler. Have you ever seen a tutorial in a game that completely interrupts the gameplay flow to give you a pop-up message of what you have to do next and what button presses you have to do to achieve it? Have you ever felt that that's kind of obtrusive and intrusive into your gaming experience? That has been my opinion and my reaction to it. So today I want to talk about this type of tutorial, what's negative about it, and hopefully what we can do to change it. My name is Xanthos. I've been working in the games industry for over 13 years now, and whenever I play a game like that just interrupts gameplay to throw a pop-up message in my screen with how you move around the screen and how you do this and that special move and so on, the biggest problem I feel personally is that I can't remember. So if the game says press A to jump and press B to do the left punch and so on, I don't remember it. When it gets to more complicated stuff like this attack works well against fire creatures and at night and on Wednesdays and so on, I just don't remember. I am much more interested in what I was doing at that time when I was playing before that pop-up tutorial message came up than the content of the actual message. So what can we do about this, right? What examples can we take from other games that do this sort of tutorial better? Well, I'm sure you know already the case of the Super Mario Pro that has no pop-up messages, no text even, but everybody seems to understand how every mechanic works and what it does, right? And that is through experimentation. So that is one approach that we know it's very highly regarded in the games industry, and it's, in my opinion, it's much better than a pop-up text that just slaps you with a bunch of knowledge. But there's a finer point here. So tutorials in general are a bad experience when they are presented in this kind of pop-up form. Because first of all, I feel that I didn't ask for it. I don't want this right now. Possibly I don't want this message at all in my gaming experience. So it's similar to school. When you go to school one day and suddenly they're talking to you about math. I didn't ask to be taught about math. I have no interest in it. If I was interested in it, that would be a different story. But getting given this pop-up knowledge whenever the developers thought it's necessary for the game, to me doesn't feel good at all. So if we were to improve on the process, I would change these two occurrences around. So instead of giving the tutorial message to the user right before they have to use the content in the game, why not instead take the approach of perhaps Half-Life or something similar like that, where you get first to see the new feature being used by enemies or by other allies or just out there in the world, then see the benefits of that feature, then understand how those benefits could be applied to you if you use that feature for your own character, and then build the desire to use the feature first. And when the player has so much desire that, for example, they see somebody else using the chainsaw or a laser gun or whatever, and they think, oh man, this looks so strong, I wish I could use this. Then, after that desire is born, after they want to use it and they want to experience it, then the tutorial will be much more in place. And even if it's in text form, it's something, even if it's something more elegant, like the Super Mario approach or the Half-Life approach or something like that, I think that feels best based on my experience and what I've done so far. So that is a very fine point. Perhaps it's too much of a subtlety for most people to think when they're playing games or when they're making games. But for me, I noticed it's something that really interrupts my experience. And on the other hand, just by switching those two events around, so the desire to use something and the tutorial about how to use it, just by those two being switched around, it stops being a tutorial to me anymore. I don't feel like now the game is trying to shove something down my throat and I have to learn it. I think that this is a reward for me chasing this particular laser gun or whatever cool feature the game has to offer me. Is appropriate for all circumstances? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe in the beginning of the game when the player has zero context about the game, maybe you have to write it very explicitly in writing or a pop-up message like that. That could be the case. But for more advanced things, whenever I experienced it in that order, first having the desire in me to use that new feature and explore it, and then finding out how, one way or another, that feels so much better for me, and it improves my experience immensely. And that's something that I hope to see in other games a lot, and I'm trying to support it as much as possible in the games I make, always. But I'm also curious to see if you experience tutorials and pop-up messages like that. So it's a topic that really interests me. So please write down below what you think, and I will definitely write it. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and as always, have fun.